Here we go, guys. While this is processing, I want to tell you a little bit about this gentleman. About to bring up. There he is.
There he is.
Awesome.
Awesome. So
this gentleman
is I'm so inspired by him.
I'm
super excited.
I'm going to
turn my volume down
because I'm hearing
myself talk again.
You might want to turn
your volume down a little bit too, Sean, because I think my voice is coming through your mic.
There we go.
Saw a close up of my hand.
Is that better?
Yeah,
it's all good.
So you guys,
I'm so inspired by this gentleman,
Mr.
Sean Loomer is here with me today, and I'm so honored and so blessed.
Him and his wife,
you guys have been traveling the world for over 15 years and training medical professionals. With professional athletes all around the world, helping them live a healthier lifestyle, sharing the wisdom and the knowledge of plant medicine, and living life with more abundant health and wealth by eating raw foods.
So without further ado, you guys, I'm going to bring over and let this gentleman talk and share his story. Mr. Sean Loomer.
What's going on? Man, little technology. It's always fun.
Right?
Well, hopefully you can hear me okay. If it gets weird, just let me know. Hopefully you can see me okay. I got this sun kind of coming in off the ocean. I'm trying to shut the blinds, so my glasses, I got the no reflection glasses, lenses, right? But I still see a shininess, so who knows, man? Hopefully it's okay for everyone else. Right on, right? Need a little water. Okay. Well, first of all, Gregory, thank you so much, man, for inviting me into your world, into your Wellness Wednesdays, which is fantastic. I just love when I hear people talking about wellness and they're consistent with it, and it's part of their life, like it is with you, and it's part of your journey. I mean, that really, it means a lot. It means a lot to Tylene and I. We're just trying to do what we can do, and you're trying to do what you can do. And we're all in this together, and I know you've been doing this for several years now, probably close to 10 years or so, right? And Ty and I, too long. I don't know how long it's been. 15, 20 years, whatever it's been. And, it's more relevant. I think it's always been relevant, but I think it's more relevant to more people now because they're more open, right? They're
absolutely
more people wanting to know how can they help themselves more with their health and their life. And before, and don't get me wrong, it's still a challenge. There's still plenty of people that it's a challenge to get them to hear us. But it's not like it was. I mean, we used to get laughed at and called a lot of weird names because of what we were teaching or sharing. And but we're grateful, man. We're grateful for just people that want to hear. And we always say, it's not up to us. It's up to the people are going to hear. The ones who are supposed to hear will hear. And when the truth resonates with them, that's a good thing. And then they'll go on and they'll share that information or whatever. So we're stoked, man. We're doing what we feel we've been called to do. And Gregory, I never imagined this is what I would be doing at this point in my life. But we've just seen thousands and thousands of lives change, and we don't know. And that's how it all started with me. I had lost my mom to colon cancer at a young age, and I was trying to be more preventative and learn more about how could I live a healthier lifestyle. And this was like in the early 1990s. And finally I met Tylene, who now is my wife, and she taught me so many things that I didn't know. And if I wouldn't have been open to hearing her, my life wouldn't have changed. And I think so many of us, sometimes we have to unlearn what we've learned. And the hardest part I still find today, and I don't know about you, but is the people that are closest to us, sometimes it's the hardest because maybe they know you as Gregory, the little kid, or Gregory this or that, or Sean the football or basketball coach, or whatever, And so it is hard sometimes. It's hard to get people to understand that what we're sharing and teaching, Gregory, is so, as you know, it's just so simple. I think that's the most frustrating part about all this is it's just so simple. And
I think that's what.
Go ahead.
I think it makes it so difficult for people is because it's so simple that people can't even really comprehend it.
Right. And they overthink it. We overcomplicate many things in our lives that we do, and it goes back to nature. It goes back to food, and we just got really, really off track as a society, and certainly in the U.S. And you can trace it back. Well, you can trace a lot of things back a long ways, but certainly with food. After World War II, when the food started to change here in the U.S., that's when it really started to get funky, I think. And, we started canning our food, and we started TV dinners, and then the microwaves, and then fast food, all these things. And so we're just, we're just off course. And we all kind of, we're the sheeple, right? And we just keep doing what everyone else is doing.
Right.
And we see it on TV or in magazines or now the internet, it's changed. And so people we're just followers. And our doctors, we love our doctors, but our doctors aren't taught. They're not taught about food. They're not taught about nutrition. And that's the biggest thing any of us can do. It all starts with our food. Hippocrates had it right. Let food be thy medicine. That's what this is. That's really what this is. And people are like, how could food fix this or fix that or prevent this or prevent that? Well, that's the truth, man. That is the truth. It's food. And we don't really eat food anymore. Right? I mean, on the standard American diet or whatever, we don't eat very well. And everything is processed, that's for sure. Even when we're trying to eat good, we have to be careful because the soil's not as good. So where are we buying these fruits and vegetables from? That has to be looked at if we even, the average American, last time I looked, it's been a little while, eats about 5% fresh and living food. 5% of what they consume is fresh and living. That's absurd. Our bodies weren't meant to eat all this cooked and processed food. And this isn't about a diet, Gregory. It's not about a diet. It's just a way of life. And it's not about
it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, and it's not about being perfect. Because some people think, I can't do that. It's too hard. I love food. Well, man, I love food. Eileen, we love food. And so but it's certain things are what we'll call a treat. They're not a way of life for us. We go back and we look and we say, look, we're trying to eat 80% fresh and living food a day. That's pretty high. And maybe someone wants to do 50 or 10% because they're only eating 5%. That's okay. But all these issues, when we eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, dessert every day, every week, every month, every year, at some point, if we're not careful, they're going to rear their head as some issue, some health issue. And every one of these health issues can be traced back to some form of inflammation. And when it comes to food, something went wrong over a period of time, and all of a sudden it becomes this issue now. And that's what this is all about, whether people, now more people are believing, they're getting it. Because Gregory, you know this, we're not drug deficient. That's ridiculous. We're nutrient deficient.
We're nutrient deficient.
Right? And drugs there's a time and a place for that, and crisis care and things like that. But we don't want to just address a symptom. We want to find out what happened in the first place. How do we change that so we can really move forward, feel better, and not live in pain and not have all these health issues and all this bad inflammation and all these things. It's all part of a healthy lifestyle. So I certainly don't want people to think this is complicated because it isn't. Look at where you are today and ask yourself, what can I do to take the first step? And I would say the simplest thing for people when it comes to food is, when you go to bed tonight and you lay down before you go to sleep, I want everyone to just think back, how much fresh and living food did they consume during the day? and how much cooked, heated, or processed food. And remember, all of our beverages, right? Unless you're drinking water, unless you're drinking a cold-pressed juice, these things are processed. They're heated. They're pasteurized. Your juices they're cooked. They're pasteurized, right? So all of these things, when you lay down and I say, okay, what did I eat? You know, you talk to me. What did I have for breakfast? Well, most people say, well, I had eggs, right? And I had toast, probably white brutal toast, which isn't very good. So I had toast. I had maybe potatoes. Right? Potatoes turn into sugar so fast. I had potatoes. I had either sausage or bacon. You know, come on, man. Pork is not the other white meat, by the way. It's the slowest digesting meat. So we don't need to go there. But all this dead stuff, right? Pasteurized orange juice, 100% dead food. So what if they just went back and said, well, I love my eggs, but I'm going to have some sliced avocado and some sliced tomato, and now I'm kind of 50-50. This isn't hard. If you eat oatmeal every day, look at the oatmeal you're eating. You know, a lot of people live on oatmeal. You know, so I like to look at the type of oatmeal, like a steel cut, you know, that kind of thing. And then how do I make that fresh and living? Well, put a couple of organic local blueberries. All right? Now I'm 50-50. This isn't hard. This is not complicated. So, anyways, look, all we need to know is this. More fresh and living food. Gregory, if people would eat, I'm not going to do this. I've done this before. If they ate all raw, fresh and living food, no one would even recognize them in a month or two.
Right.
You wouldn't even recognize yourself. You wouldn't recognize yourself. Your sleep would be better. Your attitude would be better because your mind is functioning differently. Your skin, your whole appearance, you're a whole different human being. Because that's what our bodies were intended to live on. It makes a lot of sense. But instead, we're obese. You know, most people in this country are obese. Over 70% of this country is on medications. That's not right. But we don't know, and our docs don't know. More learning. But it all kind of just goes back, starts with food, fresh and living food. It's not about a diet. We can teach that. Weight loss happens as a side effect of healthy lifestyle. So I'll keep going on the food road, but if you want the simplest thing to do to help yourself, the absolute simplest thing, where do I start? Eat more raw, fresh and living food. It doesn't mean to go all raw unless you're dealing with a serious issue, right? So, Greg, we've worked with so many health practitioners and pro athletes, all that stuff, but when we would work with, like, let's say folks that are dealing with cancer, as an example, if you go to another country, to a cancer treatment facility, one of the first things they do, they're going to want to detox the body, and then they're going to flood the body with raw nutrients. Okay, like you talk about drinking like these juices, these fresh squeezed, cold-pressed juices, all that stuff, greens and all these things. You're talking about a dozen of those a day or more, depending on the protocol, because every facility is a little different in everyone's specific cancer and what they're dealing with and at what stage, etc. But it's about flooding the body with nutrients, raw nutrients. Takes all the pressure off of the human body. It's just giving to the body, allowing the body to do what it's capable of doing on its own. And that's the part that blows people's minds. They don't understand. See, most of the time, a lot of our pain will go away from food. I mean, like physical pain. You know, the human body is a phenomenal, vessel that can do so much on its own, provided the right fuel. Exactly. It just wants to change. It will take care of itself. It will. I mean, the body was made the way it was supposed to be made. We're all the same, yet we're different. We have some, we're a little bit different based on our culture, based on our foods we eat, based on our environment, but it's the human body. It just is looking for a way that it can start to heal itself. It's not you, it's not me, it's everyone's body on their own, what it's capable of doing. So I just really want to emphasize that, we don't label ourselves. Please don't label Ty and I. We're not vegetarian, we're not vegan, we mostly eat plant-based, that's true. We like to eat mostly raw, fresh and living food, that's true. Will we eat something cooked? Of course we will. Will we have some form of meat, whether it's turkey or fish or something? Yes, we do that sometimes too. So we're not perfect. This isn't about being perfect or labeling us, and no one can do that for the most part. Most people can't eat all raw. Number one, it's kind of boring for them. There are some that can, but that's, I would say, less than 1% of our population. So just look at what we're consuming food-wise. That way the body is capable of so much, and things will start to reverse itself. So what do you do first? Well, first, if you have a chance, you prevent these issues. Way easier to prevent than to reverse. And so what frustrates me is that it's just so simple. That's frustrating. The other thing is that our children, all these little kids, they don't have a choice. They're going to consume what mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, whoever's taking care of is feeding them. They don't have a choice. And the younger you start them, the better. Because now the taste buds, now they get used to eating certain things. They won't even want all that processed sugar. Look, people say, well, how do I lose weight? Well, eat more fresh and living food. You want to really lose weight, then how much dairy are you eating, right? How much white flour are you eating? How much sugar are you eating? This is not hard. It's not hard. And it's not, we don't need to overdo anything. We don't judge anyone for how they eat. That's not what this is, man. It's your body's your
absolutely.
Right? This is your world. That's your body. Mine's mine, right? And so it's your choice how you want to have this experience as a human being on this planet as Gregory, and you're going to do what you're going to do. However, when you're enlightened, I think most people will tend to do things a little differently because they just didn't know. And that's what this is all about. And that's, so let's kind of, you tell me what you want to talk about, man. So we kind of talked about food. I want to talk about plant medicine. There's plant enzymes. There's, we do a lot with CBD.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
So, with the enzymes, I've been a holistic health educator for
10 years.
10 years.
And
I've learned so much about enzymes and how
they play a
huge factor in our lives, and that in order to get them,
we have to
consume them.
And that comes from
raw food.
You're given a bank of
enzymes. You only get so many.
Right.
And then
your pancreas goes into overtime trying to produce them.
So you're dead on. You're spot on. Absolutely. But here's what's funny. This just hit me right now. So we always kind of talk about, you said like your little bank account, your little account of these enzymes or whatever. Ty and I, we used to call it our ATM machine. How many, you keep going to the ATM machine and pulling out money and you never put anything back in. At some point, it's gone. But the challenge is, here's the mystery. We don't know what we started life with our pancreas. We don't know because it's based on our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents of what our little bank account is. So can you imagine if people looked at this like money and we all got a debit card, but we didn't know what the balance was? We didn't know how much was in there. Here's a bank account, and you can go to the ATM machine as often as you like, but we're not going to tell you how much money's in there. Now you have to live your entire life. I think I'd be freaked out. I don't know about you, if that's all I could do.
Right. I'd be finding ways to put stuff into that bank account.
Exactly. And so we're getting, these, when we eat our fresh and living food, the enzymes are there, they're present, they're alive. When we cook our food, no matter what kind of food, when we heat it, we kill the enzymes. About 116 degrees or so, whatever, you can do your own research, we can get real specific, they die. They're the life force of the food, and so now every time we eat without that life force, we're asking our little bank account, our pancreas, to release enough, right, to kind of spit these things out and help process that food we just ate. And that's where the challenge becomes, because you have to in order to get all the nutrients out of the food you eat, it has to break down to the smallest usable, absorbable molecule, right? That's what happened to me. When I met Tylene, I had arthritis in my hands. I wasn't breaking down, digesting completely my protein. So my body doesn't know if I ate a chicken breast or a protein bar or whatever. It's like, that's protein. It should be an amino acid. In my case, it couldn't do that completely, so it would stay as uric acid, which built up in my hands, which is arthritis. So
Right.
I could, what do I do? Well, if I put in a bunch of these enzymes, these heavy protein splitting enzymes, right, and let them go in there and go to work and eat up all that inflammation and scar tissue, uric acid, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get medicated. I didn't even change what I was eating, right? So I wanted to eat better. This was, 20 years ago, whatever it was. But you know what I mean, over time. But that, Gregory, that went away in less than a week. I had no idea till I met Tylene. And I was seeing specialists in Scottsdale and Phoenix. And I was frustrated. But I didn't know what I didn't know. One doctor wanted you need surgery, you have nerve damage, I think, in your